Hey everybody, it's Patrick from the Pitch Stack. We got another armory game for you guys. This time it's Dromai, which is nice because I actually haven't had a Dromai go against me for armory night, and we've had plenty show up. So it's nice to get that on camera, but Jeremy here is actually kind of new. He's testing it out. He's usually FABRARY or maybe some dash or things like that, so he'll move around some. I stick with wizard because she's so hard sometimes, but you gotta test out and change with the meta. But here we're changing the way that approaching the videos for armory night. So here we have the card set up for you guys, and it is painstakingly time consuming when it comes to the edits, but let me know if you guys like this in the comments below, if you prefer it this way. I don't want to have the video full screen and then just kind of cut the cards off of the bottom. That's why I have this like sort of Uprising volcano frame, the Volcor mountain itself. But here I mess up whenever it comes to my turn. We'll get to it, but we'll get to that later on whenever it comes to it. And here we just see the passing mirage arsenal, and then tick up. We mess up here because I toss a cold snap or a waning moon, which is dumb because you just have that in my hand. I wasn't paying attention, so I have no arsenal next turn. It's ballsy to put it down there because I may not have a dragon for a while. Plus, he didn't have any ash, or doesn't have any ash currently, which means that he can just AB to get the ash. So it forces him to be a little bit more stuck. So I should have read into that a little bit better. Just in general, you don't want to have just the popper in the arsenal, so I shouldn't have done that. So now he has an ash for that that dragon, and he had two dragons. That's why he didn't play it last time. Plus he has a sand cover in his hand. So it would have been a lot better not to have the waning moon go through, and he could just pitch for it. It forces him to do something else, which I think he has another passing mirage in hand, which means he would have just have to pay another passing mirage and then pass the turn. So that was just, it's a 2-for-1 on my mistake right there, and I wasn't thinking. Now we have double here, and it's, again, we're screwed because of the ash being coming through, because I paid for the moon. He wouldn't have been able to do that, I don't think, because he just passes the turn here. No, he's able to play this one attack, that's right. So he was able to do something on his turn, but he wouldn't be able to play the dragon, because this is just doesn't have go again. So he'd just be able to play that, and I can block it safely if I wanted to or not. But yeah, just turn one, it didn't feel great because I wasn't thinking. Here, we just send it straight towards him. We don't need frost hex since we already have one. The free frost hex, but we put frosting in so we can hit a baby dragon if need be. Stop the turn. We have a Ravenous Rabble showing the sigil, which is coming in for 4. And I want to potentially test the waters before I do anything. We end up thinking about Blizzard as being a potential option, because we can test waters with that. Honestly, we could have done frosting plus waning moon and then Blizzard, which is a little bit better. But we went with Blizzard first because of the reason you want to test the waters. You can say frosting, no pay, moon, no pay, and then now you're stuck with Blizzard, which could screw them over because it's now another 2 resources plus the 2 frostbites. But here we're just going straight for Blizzard. He chooses not to pay and it loses go again, so it changes a little bit of things.
And then did you take the?
No, it's still on layer step, so
Okay. Yep, that's fine.
And then before it actually is attacking, we're gonna just frosting for 1. Because now he knows he loses his turn and he's pitching for it, so that's the reason why you want to do potentially Arcane first and then Blizzard. Because you don't know the Blizzard's going to stop the turn. Now he's like, okay, now my turn's gone. I can just pitch for everything and then break the frostbites and have 3 floating, which is a little confusing to me, and that's why I was like, okay, he wants to break the frostbite, and then before the damage comes through, I'll take the 1 damage, and then just break the frostbites because it's 2 frostbites, and that's just another 2 damage. It's a little bit more damage though, so it breaks frostbites that way better. And he doesn't have the 3 floating, so that's why I was like, okay. He doesn't represent it, and then he puts it back on later. That's why I was like, oh, okay, so I've got 3 floating, so that changes things.
Because I pitched a furnace. And that's
But I still think there's 2 AB instead of 3 AB, so he could, I guess, it'll leak in 1 damage here. And then Arsenal the next Winter's Bite. So I still launch it anyways. A little bit of free damage coming in, but it could have been more damage had I Frosting, then Moon, and then Blizzard, like I said before. Keep that in the back of your mind if you've got something that can push through some damage before the Blizzard.
How much did it come for? 328.
And then take 4. Okay.
Here we just Arsenal pass. Put Winter's Bite in Arsenal. We draw up into a little bit of a red heavy hand. We draw 2 reds having 3 reds, which is fine. But it's not so fine when it comes to Mai here. And then, of course, yeah, we'll deploy the Winter's Bite. Give him a Frostbite as well. The 1 remaining was gone, so now he has to, if he attacks with it, he just attacks with 1 card in hand, which is fine. He can potentially block with Freezing Point. But he just attacks with this first. So we say 1 damage, which is fine. Like, he should have attacked with the Mai, but then he probably forgot about Passing Mirage, and he was afraid of the Popper, which is another 3 damage that was for free.
Oh, yeah.
So he could have just did that and then ended his turn. So yeah, it could have been Mai and then the Ashwing, so that's another 3 damage he didn't get towards me.
Okay.
So I could have actually used Command and Conquer here instead of Freezing Point. Because I don't know if I should keep saving this Popper. You never know if it's going to be too useless in your hand. Like, you don't always have to hold it up. But I only have 4 Poppers, so I try to make them work as much as I can. So yeah, it could have been, instead of Freezing Point, it could have been that Popper, but here we deploy a blue Ice Vein and infuse it. With Channeling Frigid. It's gonna be a bit of an awkward hand, but if you want to get rid of it, there's probably argument just to take it and then see what happens afterwards. But he didn't have 3 AB, and that's why I think I did it. That way it can essentially stop other cards coming through. Which I think it was a Burn Them All, which would have helped a little bit of Arcane saving some Arcane. And here I'm thinking, well, I've got an awkward hand. I don't really know what to do next turn. I want to be able to have this Ice Bolt for later on, but we just take the damage, which is just 1 damage. Then I get confused. I was like, wait, hang on, you didn't play red, but then it's just off of the thing. It's already has to go again, yeah. Already has go again. Take the 1. Go to our turn. I'm not willing to use this 1 Popper for a little baby Ashwing, because he does happen to have a lot of Rake the Embers later on. So it doesn't really matter. Here I'm deciding what to do. I don't have Tunic up, which would have been a little bit better. We could have just Ice Bolt, Tunic, and Command and Conquer to pay for that. But I'm thinking like, can I just play the Channel Lake Frigid with these 2 cards and have no arsenal? Is it really going to be impactful? He does have 5 cards that he can play, so it doesn't really matter. And I could potentially stop his turn with 2 things. Kind of like Great Command and Conquer. But it's not great whenever you have just the Ice Bolt in hand. You have basically 2 reds in your hand plus the Channel Lake. It's a little rough. Because then you have the blue in hand plus the blue to pay. And then you're going to have to hold that blue for using for peak. Somehow you're going to have to get the ice card into pitch to keep the Channel Lake around. But he does deploy the rake, and I'm thinking, yes, I do want to deploy it now. I could have waited for him to swing and then use the Command and Conquer, which was probably a little bit better play. I will just use it on the second Ashwing, or see what else was going through my head to let the turn go down a little bit more. But I think this is just enough to keep it a little bit more pressure. But yeah, I think that was probably the better play, slightly better play. Wait to see what the rest of the turn was. Maybe he starts swinging with the Ashwings, and then he'll see what the life total is after like the 4 Ashwing swing.
Attack with 1 Ashwing. Make 2 Ashwing.
Which I think, yeah, that was slightly better. Because here I'm popping it anyways. So I could have just let 2 of them come through. Pop with the Command and Conquer in the turn, and then have the Channel Lake in my arsenal still. Winter's Bite, and then use the last blue to hit with Ice Bolt. That would have been a slightly better play. We have CFL with 1 counter. And this is just for 4 by itself, so there's no go again off of it. And we just block. We have same ether, ice vein color. Might as well just use it. And then he ends turn. Since Channel Lake is up. Say that's fine. But here I'm considering Ice Bolt, so that way I can potentially use something else in my arsenal. I think because maybe Tunic is up. I was thinking considering the blue Ice Bolt in my arsenal. Because I could still oh wait, I don't know why I was considering the red Ice Bolt, but then it kinda like dawned on me as, wait, hang on, I got 2 ice cards in this ice vein. I don't know why I didn't deploy it faster, so he blocks all 4, because he's got 4. Actually he's got 5 total. And then he uses 2 ice cards and then go for 2.
34. 2 ice cards.
And it's a good thing we kept the red Ice Bolt, because now we draw up into all ice cards for a potential 3 ice counters on Channel Lake Frigid. Here he does just sigil, and that's it. Which I'm okay with.
Yeah, your arsenal's good.
He's definitely playing the long game with some of these, with definitely some of the arcane cards that I'm pitching, or using. Because he wants to make sure that he plays a little bit more longer, I'm guessing. Since he is new, maybe he's curious on how he is to play this matchup. So here, we use Ice Bolt with the 2 ice cards.
2 cards in hand.
And we use Arctic Incarceration for the Waning Moon. It'll be for 5, and then Waning Moon for 2. And he just does AB2, taking 3.
34. Yeah, go ahead with your ash.
I think it's 34 or 25. He takes 2, 32.
32. 3 cards, 3 ice cards to the bottom.
Yep.
3 ice cards. And here he just plays Uvia. Here I could have done the Ice Bolt, and I don't know why, because it could just stop the 1 damage. Unless I do? No, I let it go, which is weird. And he could have just, oh wait, no, that's right, he can't attack with it. He can just only deploy it, that's right. I didn't want to do it right afterwards. I can do it now, but because I'm not going to be able to have anything else on my turn for...
Let's do...
Yeah, we play Arctic Incarceration, or we pitch it and then we play it now, so that's...
29.
That. Plus Waning Moon.
Waning Moon for 3. Yep. 6.
So a nice strong 7 damage turn. Frostbite at the end. Now our life totals are even. 25, 25. Here we're gonna play the keep the hypothermia. And we just Ether Hell off the ice, man. Because we can't stop the turn with Ether Hell and Arsenal. Not blue. Otherwise it would have been a snap Ether Ice Vein. And you could choose either one. Hypothermia or for if it was a blue Ether Hell. But here we're just going to Ether Hell for 4. A little bit of small damage. And then he just sand covers. I can't moon after it resolves, so it's fine. The tunic was not up. And the reason you want to do that is because you want him to pitch for the 2 moon, the 2 arcane off that. That way sand cover uses its prevention off the moon and not the higher damage card. So here we have Rake. Just completely fine. Because we have hypothermia and 2 arsenal. Now he actually is using it, and we'll just say this. I didn't know whether if he would have done anything else, because that would have been a little better, just hypothermia off of that, but then he breaks the frostbite, so that's guaranteed 1 damage here. So. But he uses furnace anyways to break it, so you never know. You want to wait for them to attack, so that way you can potentially keep the frostbite around. He could have just AB'd, but maybe he didn't like the rest of his cards in his hand, so that's why he's using furnace. Break it, because he wants to get a little bit better cards, or maybe blues in his hand. And here I'm checking to see if there's some other ice veins that we've got going on. We use the Ether Hell and the hypothermia in our hands. And like I said before, you could choose, this is where it's coming up again, where it's either hell or hypothermia. You can choose either one. And here I think I should have just kept the hell instead of the hypothermia, because at that point you can just ether hell, and he has no cards in hand. He's just swinging, so might as well just get some free damage in.
Swing 1.
He'll just swing with 1. He has no cards in his hand, so that was a misplay on my end.
Then I'll move the draw.
Yep, draw's good. My turn, so start. Tunic to 3.
Okay.
Like, it's a good thing because I would have been an awkward hand to deploy it. Probably would have just used the freezing point off of the Ether Hell. No moon or whatever. It's basically you're gonna save 3 damage on him, but if that would have been the case for the Ether Hell and Arsenal, here we're going to use freezing point instead of Ether Hell or Ether Ice Vein, because I want something a little bit more impactful off of the hypothermia for next turn. Damage is just damage. You're not going to... He's could probably just take the damage and not strip anything from his hand. That's why we keep the Ether Ice Vein in our hand rather than the freezing point. Slightly higher damage too as well.
Do a sweeping blow for 3.
This is sweeping blow, I think, for 3. So everything would be getting go again. Play a red card.
And you get Ash. I will take to 20.
Just take the 3, and I wanted him to swing in with a dragon, and then we deploy the hypothermia, and then we give him the frostbite. He can't pitch the furnace to break it, so he just takes the 1, and I take the 1 from the dragon. That's why I don't use the blizzard, because I want to be able to free card use here. So we use Ether Hail, and we pitch Blizzard, and we fuse with Ether Hail. And we don't Moon, like I said before, because it's crazy value with X on the field. Whenever you have Ether Hail from Arsenal, it's an additional 1 damage, but it's still scary because you get not just the Moon and this off of it. You're gonna get that extra resource that you may need to AB for that. So here we say we're not gonna Moon for 2. We're gonna wait and save it. I don't like the freezing point in my arsenal or my hand, but it's still there for value, and I think I still just block with it. He doesn't have anything the rest of his hand, I think, so we just I block with it. I'm not gonna need anything. Might as well preserve a little bit. And it doesn't have go again.
You're just gonna.
Our last red one. Blocks it out, and then might as well leak in 2 damage. Here we had the Ether Hail, and I think this is a misplay. We should have Ether Hailed now, so that way we send damage to his face, and that's the only card he has, but we let it go. So that way we're pinging the dragon instead of pinging him to stop the turn, because he can't play anything off of the Frostbite. The Frostbite's preventing the dragon to be played. I shouldn't have, should not have sent this to the dragon. It's 2 damage to him that I'm missing. So it was a misplay by me on that play. I should have recognized it earlier, so unfortunate that I didn't think of it that way. I think I would just use Amulet of Ice at that point. Amulet of Ice, Ether Hail to you, plus Waning Moon. That was all the 6 damage right there, and then you're only taking 3 because you're gaining 3 off the sigil. He's still gaining 3 off of this anyways, so he's only taking 1 damage technically at the end of the turn because of Moon and then the Frostbite. Yeah, slight misplay by me. Could have eaten more damage. So we have a kind of an awkward situation on our turn. We stop the turn entirely based off our hand with Hypothermia. Because we can either use Insidious Chill with the Ice Eternal, pitching the Ice Eternal, leaving the Hypothermia in the arsenal, or we can reverse it. Hypothermia pitches for the Insidious Chill, and then we can potentially stop their turn with the Insidious Chill plus Ice Eternal because of the fuse. And this is why I'm thinking, okay, how many fuse targets do I have in my graveyard? I have a lot of Ice Veins that I've used, / blocked with. I think I only blocked with 1, but I've used some. I think I'd count up to 7 of my 9. So the Ice Vein targets in my deck are slightly low.
Let's do Insidious Chill.
That's why I shake my head. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not quite sure. we run it anyways. And it's a good thing that he has the Dromai, so that we can burn the card plus stop the turn with 2 frostbites. That's what we go with. X equals 2. So I'm going to use the Command and Conquer on Thamai anyways because I don't want to burn my nodes for killing Thamai. I mean, sometimes you got to do it, since you got to do it if your hands don't line up. If I didn't have anything, if I didn't have this Command and Conquer, I probably would have. So here, we're stopping the turn. We first need to get the Tunic off first, and then do it. That's the order you're supposed to do it in. We pitch this Arctic Incarceration. Fuse it, and then have it come in. So yeah, it was fused. So we make sure that it is fused because we just want to go it again. It is coming in for 2 frostbites. So he sand covers it. Thinking I don't want to moon because it's basically higher damage at this point, and I'm mooning to prevent it that way. So I'm okay letting the sand cover block too. It's pretty low damage for him to block it. So. But it's the reason he does it is to at least save himself some damage, and he's gonna lose the card anyway. And stops his turn.
12.
Takes 2 damage anyways, so 18, 12. Nick to 1. So we used the hell anyways. It probably would have been better because if we're at Tunic to 1, hell would have been a better play. Slightly better play. So I should have done it instead. I think I'm thinking of in-game right now. That's why I'm doing the Ice Bolt into Arsenal, I think. Ice Bolt into Waning Moon into something, all of it being pumped. That's why he's doing this now, and I take forever to think about this. A lot of different things in this turn. So there's a lot to sort of evaluate. Here, this Dromai is coming down, and it's his last Dromai. We have Ice Bolt coming in for 4 with Node, plus 2 potential two potential ice cards making 2 frostbites. So right there, that's 6 damage plus Ether Hell coming up to 5 is going to be 11. 5 plus 4 equals 9 plus the 2 there, that's 2 frostbites, that's 11 plus Waning Moon equals 3. That's 14. And if he has a blue in hand, he survives, which is what I'm considering as well. And then also the red from the Furnace, which I forget is a thing. Or can be a thing. So we have a lot of options here, and I don't think we can kill, and that's what I'm thinking here. And I think I test the waters first with Ice Bolt.
They should be careful with the words can't on cards.
So we toss out the Ice Bolt. I think we used Channel? No, we used Frosting. Should've done Channel Lake first. That's a better play.
Do you have anything before her?
Slightly better play because we don't need tempo now, we need damage, so Channel Lake would have been better. Now he furnaces in response. So I think okay, maybe I can respond here. But now he's gonna have 3 floating, so I have to redo my math. We have 3 here, he's gonna block it. He has 2 potential frostbites, that's 2 damage, plus another Waning Moon, that's 3 damage. That's 5 with Ether Hell. coming in for another 5. That's not enough because it's just shy. Because if I pump either the Ice Bolt to 4, he's only going to block 3 of it. It stops the turn though. So it's still rough. Like, it's not death.
Okay, that's fine.
Because I am curious on how, if I don't think I'm going to play anything for the or paying things for the node, because it's still resources that I'm kind of shy on. So I just let it go. I believe we're just 1 short. I pumped the bolt to 4, plus 2 frostbites, and then the waning moon. That's 3 damage because he'll be able to prevent 3 of the 4 from ice bolt. 3 damage plus Ether Hill going to 5.
I'm not moving past
Couple short, yeah, a couple short. That's why I don't do it.
So dragons.
You're at 12, right?
Yep. And then I took 1 from that.
Yeah. Oh, 1 from that. Yeah, gotcha.
To make sure we get all of our damage right. He's preventing it. Ice.
Here.
The frostbite still stays.
Still stay there.
Yep.
This is still in a layer.
Yep.
We still can't kill him, and that's why I'm evaluating here. I gotta double check my math. So we opt not to do anything and then let the Mai resolve. We can still kill it. That's why I was making sure if I can't kill him on my turn or this on his turn, I can kill the Mai on my turn. So we let it go, and he was preventing just enough so that way he can pay for the frostbite to go away and attack with the Mai. I mentioned if I could survive this onslaught, and I think I can. I have enough. I'm at 18. It presents 9, 10 plus that's for 14. I dropped down. No. 13. I dropped down to 5. Yeah, so we have 13 damage. Yeah, we go down to 5. He's at 11. Here. And the reason why I should have said using the Channel Lake now, because we have to use Amulet. Amulet does nothing. So Channel Lake also doesn't do anything, but it helps us to stop their turn a little bit better. But we don't want to stop their turn. We want to be able to do damage before the turn even actually goes through. So that's probably a slightly better play was to use Channel Lake instead of Frosting for the Ice Bolt and Arsenal last turn. Here's a Dromai. He still has 3 cards though. And we make sure to deploy it anyways. So maybe it saves us as well. X doesn't do anything, we pitch it. So we let it go. I don't think Tunic's up. And at this point, if it is, I don't use it. Because I think I just want to make sure it's still there for turn. He breaks the frostbite or pays for the frostbite for AB. Here, you really can't do anything except for me messing up because I pitched the frost hex. And I shouldn't have pitched it. So I don't have an ice card to keep the Channel Lake around. Another mistake by me. A well-trained Dromai will probably capitalize on these mistakes. If I had used another card to pitch for the Channel Lake, I would have probably done the Ice Eternal for that, and then do the Frost Hex on my turn to keep the Channel Lake around. But I mess up, and I would have kept that either Ice Vein as well, and for last time, so it would have changed a lot more things had I paid attention to my pitch instead. So, yeah, mistake by me. Mistakes were made. Here we have just the Dromai. Or no, this is the Asvali, but then he'll swing with the Dromai. But we still have his Hideous Chill, so that's why I wanted to keep the Ether Ice Vein. So we pop and we forget that the passing march is there. So don't pop.
Blizzard instead.
Instead we Blizzard. Just to see, and he does pay. And it would have been different if the Channel Lake was actually in play. Because he would have to pay, and then I'm Blizzarding him plus another Frostbite, so that just tax out his hand, basically. That could have stopped the turn. I would have dealt with it differently.
Let's do.
But we deploy this here.
Let's pitch. Cross text.
And we still use it.
Do it to face or
So here I'm deciding whether or not to use it for my, which is a safer play, or to face. Because I'm curious if I can't stop this Dromai either way. Because I'm curious, like, okay, if I hit hand, he can still pay for it. And just take the damage. Because I'm curious if
Let's say hit Dromai before it hits.
he can pay through Frostbite, and then we still have the Insidious Shield to go through. That's still the blue. If he has a blue, he can pay through it, and then pay through the Frostbite and still destroy me at that point. But unfortunately, he just had the red, and that was the only thing there, so he starts swinging in. I was like, hang on, you got a Frostbite, so saves me from your onslaught of many baby dragons. And I still have the popper to end it, but still, it helps me out that way. So it just rolls up, we put Cold Snap in the arsenal. Hold on to the popper, which he knows that we still have, probably. Probably doesn't have a good hand with the way that he's looking, because I think he just swings Asvali. We end up taking it
Take.
from 5 to 2. We take all the damage. Just to see what the rest of turn looks like. I think he's, you know what, I can keep poking him with this Asvali. I think that's his thought process. Because I think he has a way to instantly give them go again.
Ready? Let's do.
Here we... It's that, or he wants to preserve his life total by just keep poking me with Asvali, and then have it to where I'm not going to kill him. So we use our resources quite wise here. We go with Cold Snap into
Or I freeze your arsenal, or. And I'll have to.
here. We still have loading here. So he pays for it because
I had done that.
it was a defense reaction. Might as well.
Drawing off this.
We draw into Ether Ice Vein. Thing is, what do I want to use on my turn? For what was the arsenal card that I'm thinking of? So we do Freezing Point, and we fuse, so it doesn't really matter. There's no choice. I'm just trying to decide. We have Insidious Chill coming in plus Freezing Point and 2 float for a Waning Moon. So he pays for the Insidious Chill. And again, I shall let the Sand Cover resolve. And use Waning Moon. But I do it in response. So it doesn't get around it. But he still had the blue to get around that, even if I added the correct way.
You paid 2. And, or did
Then
you
the
do
sand cover in 2.
Gotcha. Okay. We'll do that then. Okay. This will go.
And he was able to pay for it fully. When floating. Oh, we just Winter's Bite. Pass back. Or I should say, put the Winter's Bite in arsenal. Here he swings with Asvali. We just use this just for the damage.
Doesn't matter. Just give me the frostbite.
Because of the frostbite. We get that out and we can activate Waning Moon. We can use one resource from this Winter's Bite to prevent the Arcane. We're at 2.
Okay.
And then we will block with just Insidious Chill. Arsenal the Ice Bolt.
Yep.
Block it out and kind of preserve our life. Waning Moon at the end of his turn. He's taken 4 altogether. Goes down to 6. Now this is the position that we want to be in for potential kill. This Ice Bolt with a red is great. And we happen to draw into the pitch stack because we had the Ice Bolt and Ether Hill that we had pitched together for that one Ice Bolt to keep our channel link to 3 counters. I think so. But our resources are a little lacking. If he was a higher total, we wouldn't be able to kill because we just don't have everything all together. So if the Ether Hail would have been blue, we could have, because we can pay into node. Here we take the Arcane, we just use the red Ice Bolt. We have Tunic up, we have enough for the Tunic, we have enough for everything, but we can't pay into it. We're hoping that Ice Bolt, both Ice Bolts plus the 2 Frostbites is enough. Which means he hasn't used Furnace, or he hasn't actually used anything to be able to use Furnace because he hasn't played a red card. So it helps us out on our kill turn here. Because I've been scared a little bit. I don't think he has any more sigils, and that's something I should have probably considered. Because he can just sigil, still have something for his Furnace as well to gain resources, because or to break frostbites too.
Okay.
So he can break the first frostbite that come through because that's also saving him from some damage. So here we play it.
Okay.
And then
Let's
this will be
frostbite.
anything before the frostbite.
So frostbite comes through.
This goes away. No, this is on the stack.
Yep.
I'm thinking about if I want to pay into it. Double check my resources. I can't. I have just enough to do the red Ice Bolt.
No pay. So it's just 3 and a frostbite.
So he hasn't just enough to block 3. And we can't Waning Moon. All about the math for the kill turn. Well, Riders, Tunic, Ice Bolt, or 4. Well, he's only getting 4 plus 2 frostbite, so that's exact because he has 6 left. He has 6 damage, or 6 life. So exact damage for the kill.
Exact, I think.
Exact.
A lot of misplays, stuff that I should have paid attention to towards my pitch, but all in all, I think it was a solid game. I think a more experienced Dromai would have probably killed me, but
I was thinking, okay.
thanks for watching, guys. Stick around for round 3 of the Armory.